Howdy gang, and welcome back. In today's episode of Pool School, I am going to finally teach you the proper way, or how I usually drain and refill a pool. So what do you say we get started? Alrighty, once again, before we get started, I want to remind you to like this video if you do, subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already, and please share this channel with all your friends and family members who own pools, who are looking to save a few bucks servicing them pool themselves. Alrighty, so a quick caveat on this video. Right now is not the time of the year to be draining a pool because it's too hot. You don't really want to drain a pool, in my opinion, when it's really hot, because the plaster or the PebbleTec can crack by drying out and you just can't get it full enough. So for whatever reason you have to drain and refill your pool, that's what this video is going to explain. But as I said just a moment ago, I don't have any pools that I'm draining and refilling, so I'm going to talk you through it. It is not a hard process. It really is not. It's very simple, but there's a couple pointers that will really help out. Also, if you have not watched my video on how not to drain your pool, please watch that. I'll put a link in the comment in the description below this video so you can check it out. All right, so now on to how to properly drain and refill your pool for whatever reason. So I forgot to add one thing while I was out in the field, so I'm going to add it right now. First and foremost, whenever you drain your pool, you want to make sure that your pool equipment has no way of turning on. So override the time clock, shut it off, turn the breaker off, whatever you need to do to make sure that your pool equipment does not turn on for the entire time that your pool is drained until it's refilled, or your equipment's gonna run dry. It's gonna do a lot of damage. So make sure you do that, or once you refill it, you can turn it back on and reprime it. Alrighty, so as I said earlier in this video, I do not have any examples of pools that I'm actually going to drain and refill right now, mainly because it's the heat of summer. So one big warning, I am not a fan, or nor do I encourage draining and refilling your pool when it's hot, because it's very hard to keep the plaster or PebbleTec damp while you're doing it, when you drain it, when it's that hot. Like in Arizona, when we're 110, 115 degrees, there's no way I'd tell people to drain your pool and refill it during that time. So usually I suggest people do it in the fall or in the spring when the temperatures are cooler. If you live in an area where you shut down your pools, you probably don't want to do it straight in the winter time, because I heard that can be damaging to pipes and stuff, especially with freezes as well. So usually the fall or the spring, when the temperatures are cooler and the daytime temperatures maybe don't get above 85 degrees, that's very helpful. So for whatever reason you decide you have to drain your pool, maybe you just want to change the water out. If you haven't seen my video on changing your pool water, why and when, I'd suggest watching it. I talk a little bit about cyanuric acid and all that kind of stuff, but if you haven't watched that one, I'll put a link to that video in the description below this video as well. But you might want to be draining your pool to do an acid wash, or to do a surface repair, like maybe you need to patch some of your PebbleTec or plaster, maybe there's a crack in it. Anything that you need to do where you have actually need to drain your pool. There's lots of reasons to drain your pool and refill it. But it's really quite simple, so I'm going to take you to the steps. First of all, you have to identify where you're going to drain the water, okay? In Arizona, most of the counties out here, you can drain it right into the street, or you can drain it into your yard, providing you have a big enough yard to hold the water. Or you might have to drain it into your, maybe a clean out, but make sure it goes into the sewer and not backs up into your house, because that could be a real mess too. But you want to identify where you're going to drain the water first. Then it's pretty simple. Make sure that when you start draining your pool, you turn the water supply to your auto leveler off, or it will just keep adding water to your pool. So shut that valve to your auto leveler water feed supply off, so that way it doesn't keep feeding into your pool. Then when you drain your pool, you won't have that water leaking in. You're going to want to get a heavy duty submersible pump, water pump, okay? And some of those move a lot of gallonage pretty quickly, but a lot of them have you can attach a blue backwash hose to them, and that's the hose where the water is going to drain out of as it gets pumped out. So we are in luck. One of my clients actually has a submersible water pump, and this is it right here. This one's made by Stay Right. The big thing to remember, it must be submersible. You want it to be waterproof so you can fully submerge it, okay? If you notice the pump part, there's these holes down here. This is what this thing sits on the bottom of the pool at the deepest part. And when you plug it in, this is where the suction goes. It sucks water from there. And this is the outlet valve, or the outlet port. So you attach your backwash hose to this, or whatever hose you're gonna use, and then run that to your source for where you can legally drain your water. Again, whether it's your yard, a plumbing clean out or sewer clean out, or even the front yard, your street. So again, this is an idea of what this pump looks like. And it's good to have that so that way you can see what you're looking at. But remember, it must be fully submersible. That's the key. Basically what you do is you rent that pump. They're pretty cheap. You rent them for a day, and you just set that pump in the bottom of the deepest part of your pool. Put your drain hose to the appropriate approved area to drain it, and then plug it in or turn it on and let it start pumping. And usually for me, when I would drain and refill pools, because I don't live at the house, I would actually go there in the evening, plug in the pump, the water pump, and let it run all night. And in the morning when I got back there to do whatever job I needed to do, it was pretty much drained and ready to go. Maybe it needed 20-30 minutes more, but it depends on how fast and how much water the pump that you rent moves, and how much of that water it pumps out at the same time. But if you keep your eyes on it, you should be fine. It shouldn't be too hard. But put it in the morning or put it in at night, and just watch it every couple of hours. Keep an eye on it. And once your pool is empty, then you can do whatever work you're going to need to do on it. Or if you're just refilling it, to change the water out, you can refill it right then. But in refilling your pool, it's real simple. Most Arizona houses have a hose bib in the front of the house and one in the back of the house. Sometimes there's two in the back of the house and two in the front of the house. But what I do normally is I get a couple hoses, tie it into the two backyard hose bibs, or one of the front and backyard hose bibs. When I'm ready to refill, the pump comes out of the pool, and I just start refilling the pool. And it takes, about a day for it to refill, but you just keep an eye on it, wait for it. You can also turn your auto level on. So back to refilling the pool. So you turn the auto leveler back on, because that's just going to run until the water level gets to where you want it. And then you've got your hoses in there, and just let them run. Check them every couple hours. I would not leave those and take off for a couple days, but just let it run until your pool's filled up. And then you can reprime your system, and you should be back in business. Add your startup chemicals. And if you haven't seen my video on startup chemicals, I'll put a link to that video in the description below this video as well, so you can see what chemicals you're going to want to add into your pool. If you've done an acid wash, chances are there's a lot of residual acid in there. So don't be dumping a bunch of acid in there right away. Check your pH, check your alkalinity, make sure that you don't, whether you need to adjust it or not using acid, okay? But that's pretty much it. It's really not that hard to do. If for whatever reason you decide you need to drain and refill your pool, that's pretty much how you do it. It's a pretty simple procedure. So anyway, folks, there you go. That's my video. Pretty short, pretty simple, on how to drain and refill your pool. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them in the comment section below this video, or if you'd like, you can email me directly, and my email address is going to come right across the bottom of the screen here. It's kennypoolschool@gmail.com. Once again, kennypoolschool@gmail.com. Also, if you have any suggestions of videos you'd like to see me do on pools and how to maintain your own pool, please let me know. Email me or comment, either way, and I'll see if I can accommodate you. So until we meet again, I want to thank you again for watching. Remind you to like, subscribe, and share. And until we meet again, remember, it is swim season. And if you have a pool, it's always pool season. So remember to have fun, be safe, and always, always, always watch those kids and elderly and pets around water. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.